we're starting the stream.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you could leave the lo-fi still going, but or you could just leave it until Thomas comes back. Actually, let me also. Hi everyone. Just for now, can you guys well, once it comes up on the screen, can you guys scan the QR code? That'll allow for us to track attendance for this event. If that's blocking, is it blocking? Also, I'll duck a little bit. Let me know if it works. It's not scanning. If anything, I'll just make my face a little smaller. Yeah. Also, you can get a little closer too.
Do you want me to bring the camera down?
Yeah, if you could.
Yeah,
Oh no,
right
I don't think it's not that one.
It is. Oh, you could actually.
Okay.
Yeah. It's right here.
Yeah. Yeah, we're getting started. Yeah.
Is it?
I just posted a link.
Okay. On the team lead?
No, in the announcement.
Okay. On the announcements. Okay. Thank you.
All right. So are we all good to start? Okay.
I'm gonna continue doing my thing. Okay.
Okay.
Just give me a signal.
Yeah, you're fine. What happened?
Is the link up?
Yeah. Yeah, it should be. It's on the. Let me also. I'll post it in the.
Announcement. The link is already up in the announcement. Link for the live, right?
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Backwards.
Also posting it in mobile.
Oh, but the link for me to show my face.
To show your face?
Yeah. I guess we're using that.
Yeah, we're using that as a
This
camera.
is not moving.
What do you mean?
Look at his face.
Okay. Yeah, that's for right now. If you were to move it here.
It's not moving.
Yeah, it will move in a bit.
Oh.
See?
It's lagged.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right. So we're good to start.
See yourself?
Oh, it's a little bit delayed. Okay.
There's man.
Yeah, it is a little bit delayed.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
So, I guess the background's too lit. You're not coming up, as your face is not coming up.
Oh, it's too bright.
Really bright.
Should I? I mean,
no wait. On the screen. Yeah, it's too bright.
Very bright.
yeah, because I'm coming.
Can you guys move? Sorry guys. Can you guys all move this
Actually,
way?
I mean, unless I just code there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really need charge. We just gotta move this real fast.
Sure. Okay.
It'll be fine. Just scale it, move everything. And then just move the chair. everyone. We're gonna get started right now, actually. Thank you all so much for coming to the workshop. We're super happy and excited to have you guys here for our Get Started workshop. In this workshop, we're gonna be teaching you guys, whether you guys are experts or beginners or don't even know what Git is, we'll teach you guys from the very basics, and then we'll teach you guys on how to navigate Git as well as GitHub, which are two separate things, as you will come to find out. And if you guys are part here, for mobile dev or web dev, we'll be separating out into like little groups and then teaching on how you could use GitHub for your specific needs. And even if you're not, hey, hello, welcome.
How you doing?
Good. We're just getting started now. Hello. I have not seen your face before. But yes, we're getting started now. Yeah, and then even if you guys aren't a part of web or mobile, it's okay, you guys can join in. And for web, we'll be learning on how to also use GitHub for VS Code. And for Android, for mobile development, we'll be showing on how to use it for Android Studio as well. But the first portion of this workshop, we'll be teaching on how to use GitHub, the website in itself, and then how to use it on the terminal as well, which could be a scary thing, but we'll simplify it and break it down for you guys. So, yes. So my name is Azar Ali, and I'm a marketing tech lead here. I have multiple roles here. We do multiple things here. I'm joined by my fellow mobile development tech lead, Kunzu Nunari. She's over in the corner for stream. I don't want to move the camera, but she's there, I promise. We're also joined by our amazing web development team, Manny Camboicos. He's on it's going to be updated in a second. And then also by Thomas Hanna, two of our wonderful web tech leads, who they haven't started using Java for their web projects yet, but they'll come to learn so soon enough. Yeah, it'll be updated in a second, and also this, it sounds low on the stream. Does it? Is this better? We'll just give it a few seconds for the stream to see if they can hear me. Hello. Hi, welcome. It's better? Okay, I'll just hold on to it then. So yeah, so the screen, okay, perfect. The screen is updated. So this is a bit of an agenda of what we're covering here today. It's what is version control and Git. We'll be covering as well on how you set up Git for your computer, how to create repositories, which are ways that you could store code online on GitHub and as well as on your computer. We'll be learning on how to make and review changes using GitHub, how to branch and merge, which are two terms that you all will come to learn about, and how to store your changes. So we'll be learning how to do all of these things in this workshop. Okay. So the first question that we must ask ourselves when we're using Git or GitHub, what is version control? Because Git and GitHub they're defined as a version control system. So version control, you might be wondering, why would I bother even using version control, right? If I am just using GitHub for like myself, my own project, then I just have all the changes stored on my computer, right? It's really not necessary to have to upload it online and then be able to access it, But GitHub is wonderful because it's perfect for when you work with teams. It's also, thank you so much. Yeah, it's great for, there's also a good reason why you should use it for yourself, but when you're working with a team, it allows for you to upload your code onto GitHub, and GitHub is free for you to use, so it's perfect, right? You upload your code to GitHub, and then others can collaborate alongside with you, and they could download the code on their computer, make changes, and also upload their code again to the same code base. So you're able to easily work across teams, and you make edits together, and then look at code, compare code, and then also if you by chance had made a boo-boo on your code, a devastating, you accidentally delete all the lines of code on your computer, and you can't go back to find originally what it was. that's all good. If you were proper and you were, updating your code on GitHub, just download the code again. You'll get the most recently updated changes on GitHub, and you could download them back on your computer. No sweat. So it's perfectly fine. So that's also one reason why I personally, for my personal projects, like to upload my projects to GitHub as well, because sometimes I'm a very clumsy kind of person. I delete my code sometimes, or I delete files I shouldn't be deleting. But if you're uploading them to GitHub, no worries. You can easily get back the code again before, right? So essentially, all software in a company is written using a form of version control. Yes, this is very true, because as you can imagine, with like for instance, if we're talking a big tech company, they have thousands of employees, right? They wouldn't, you wouldn't just be texting your friend on Discord at work, right? Hey, can you send me these 300 files? I made changes to all these files. That wouldn't be efficient, would it? Just look at the code on the GitHub or wherever version control software that is being used, because GitHub is not the only one that there's out there. There's also GitLab. I know, some other companies, they use Mercurial. There's like a whole bunch of other open source software, or version control software out there. Excuse me. So yeah, it's perfect for collaborating and working with others. Yeah. Also, for those of you that are in the crowd, we have 2 tech leads that will be checking on you guys, and if you guys have any questions with Git or GitHub or any point, we'll be walking around. And for those in the stream, we'll also be checking the stream as well. And so if you guys have any questions as well, we'll try to address them as well. Okay. But now that we have version control software out of the way, what is version control? We head to Git and GitHub. They're made up of the same letters. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. For those in the stream that didn't hear what Alec was saying, so he was kind of giving a little rundown on what Git was. So Git essentially is a version control system. Just what I had explained before, it is a version control system that allows for you to track changes based on files that you have. Whether you're working with a big, large Android Java project, that could be something that you could put on Git, or even if you have homework, right? Like if you want to upload pictures to GitHub, you could do that. If you want to upload, if you want to keep a track of any kind of files, text files, any sort of files, that could be done on Git. It's open source and free, and it's mainly used during the terminal. Yes. Yes. I mean, yeah. Those on your computer, right? Any sort of files, JPEG files, the files that you had mentioned just now, any sort of files, assembly code files, binary files, anything. Anything could be uploaded to GitHub. It's really, you're able to upload any sort of files to GitHub, and it stores as a place on, online that you could, store everything. But Git is basically the open source software. It's not the same as GitHub, right? You communicate with Git in the terminal, right? If you want to download Git, for your computer, because your computer might not come with Git automatically. We're dropping this in the general chat. You could download Git there. Yeah. Midterms are tough. Yes. Also, shout out to everyone who has midterms now. It's a tough time. But we'll get through it. Yes. And also there is specific downloads for Windows and Mac as well. Okay, so now that we know what Git is, right? It's you basically communicate using the terminal. What is GitHub? GitHub allows for you to look at Git, it's in the name in itself, GitHub. So it's a hub where you can access different Git projects, essentially. So essentially, when you open up a repository on GitHub, which I will actually show you now. So to access GitHub, it's github.com. I highly recommend everyone here makes a GitHub account because that's the main way how you use GitHub, and it's free as well. So I'm here on my personal GitHub account. So let's decode what exactly is happening here in GitHub. So with GitHub, essentially it's a place where you can find different repositories, GitHub repositories. What is a repository? A repository is just somewhere where you store code. Okay, so it could be made up of multiple projects, or it could be made up of just one project, or it could just be made up of just one text file. It could be anything, right? And it's just like basically like a folder, essentially, but you upload it as a project. So all of these here are projects that I have personally worked on. So when you go onto this section, repositories, these are ones that I've made. And if I were to click into this one is one I was working on for a hackathon. So let's decode a little bit, just very briefly, what's going on here in this. So yes, does someone have a question? If not, okay. So we have here these essentially exactly as how you would see them probably in your computer, like project files. It's exactly listed how it is here. So these are all files. And you can click into these files, right? Like app, welcome. If I was to click all of these here, right? I'm just going here. This is some code I had written. So I was able to go into the different project folders and then look at, this is what I'm looking at here right now is some code that I had written, right? And you could search at all of the different files here. This here is what's called a Readme. It essentially gives you a description for your project. Yeah, can you pull that down a little bit for me? I'm gonna be sitting down from now on. So this is essentially describing what, you could write this, you could write whatever you want. You could write like, hello, or I'm lost, or give it a proper description of what your application is. So this is, I recommend that when you create a project, and especially if you're putting it for your portfolio, you write a README, because it gives others, because since GitHub, if you make your projects public, then others will check out your projects. They'll see, GitHub is an awesome place to just see what others are working on and get inspiration for your own projects, right? So if you give a proper description of what you are making, then that might help others understand better what you are working on. And there's some other things here, like contributors. A contributor is someone who has pushed code to the project, or uploaded code, essentially. When I say push, that's basically upload to the GitHub website. You might hear this terminology frequently, push. Push is just uploading to GitHub. And then, yeah. You'll also see something which I'm not going to talk about too much. That will be talked about a little bit later. There's also something called branches. Branches essentially are different versions of this project. So say you want to make a change to the project, but you don't want to, you want there to be some safety. So say you're making like a change, right? You're adding a page, but you don't know if this page will automatically, if it will break the entire code. So what you will do, say if you upload it just to the normal one and say there's a bug in it, well shoot, your entire project is compromised now, and you'll have to look through all of the code and see like where is this error happening. So what a branch allows for you to do, so it allows for you, say this is your normal project right here. What you will do is it's just like a kind of like a copy of it, right? And then you can make changes on this one, right? You get the same exact things. And then if you want to, and then you make changes to this, whatever, it's yours. It's your branch. You could do whatever you want to it. And then if you want to put it back into the main application, you can later on. And then someone else can review it, and then there's like an entire process for that to get it back into the main project. So a branch essentially is just a way for you to just work on something separately without messing up everyone's flow. Does that make sense to everyone? Yes. Okay. Awesome. So that's where you could see some branches there. Yeah. Just to go a little bit into else what. yeah, so you also have your profile as well, which is some, your profile, and these are the different projects that you could put what you've worked on, and you could also add a README for yourself, which, there's a cool tutorial online on how you could add a README for yourself, and it explains who you are. Highly recommend doing it. It spices up your GitHub profile. And I will quickly say that other than for the purpose of collaborating with others on project, if you're looking to get an internship, GitHub is an awesome place to just upload your projects and build your portfolio. Because at the end of the day, getting an internship basically comprises of two things. One is being on top of your technical interview practice with LeetCode and data structures and algorithms. And then second is your projects. And the main way for recruiters to see what you have worked on is when you upload your code to whether it is your own personal website or on a other website such as GitHub. So I highly recommend you get comfortable with GitHub, as it's a skill that's also used in the workplace often, and you have GitHub in your resume, and you actually show you have uploaded projects to your GitHub. That actually puts you so far ahead. You wouldn't even believe. That's something that recruiters are actively looking for. So, and yeah, there's all of these, and if you want to check out other projects, like you could follow people, and then I just see what other people are doing. It's nice. It'll upload there later. And if I want to look up, there's also different like libraries and all sorts of cool things on GitHub. Like for instance, I think I could just look up React here, and then you could look at the actual repository for React. Like it's made by Facebook, so you see this here, and you could see that this is all of the React code on there. So even it's an also awesome open source platform as well that even companies use to upload their software. And through what I had mentioned, through branches, if you want to add an additional feature to it, you can. You could make a branch, do your own features, right? You add specific things, and then you ask through a pull request, right? You ask like React, like, hey, I think this will be a cool thing. Can you like review it and see if you would like to add it? Someone from the team, the React team, will look it over and see if it's cool with them, and then they'll upload it, and then they might merge it to their code base. So then your changes might actually be a part of this code base. So open source is also a huge thing on GitHub. Yeah, and there's so much more I could show you guys about GitHub, but I highly recommend you guys get a GitHub account and then check it out for yourself. There's a bunch of awesome things there. And if you guys don't, this kind of isn't related, but if you guys don't have a GitHub Education account already, I highly recommend you guys get one. What a GitHub Education account allows for you to do, since we're students at FIU, if you get a GitHub Education account, it gives you a lot of things for free. Like if you guys are into graphic design, Canva is included in that pack. You get Canva free for your university, and you got a lot of different developer tools through GitHub Education. Highly recommend it. I think it's just I just look up GitHub Education. Yeah. So you see, GitHub Student Developer Pack. You see all of these things, like cloud hosting, free cloud hosting. There's a bunch of stuff here. StreamYard, I didn't even know that there was. Whoa, that's cool. We should use that for streaming. Yeah. So I'm linking it in the general chat. But without further ado, let me get back to the slides. And yeah. Yeah, okay. So, what we're going to be, yeah, okay, perfect. It's merged. So, what we'll be doing now is that we'll be showing you guys how to use Git, essentially. Like I had mentioned, Git is used on the terminal. So every computer comes with a terminal. But although you will have to download Git Bash for your computer, or not Git Bash, like you'll have to download Git, and then once you download Git, you could use it on your terminal. And I believe when you're downloading Git, you could leave all of the options default. I believe you will just need to make the editor nano. That should be the only thing that you do. Otherwise, you'll be using Vim for your editor, and that has a bit of a learning curve to use. So you'll be easier off using nano. That's all I will say. Okay, so yeah, so yeah, so when you start using Git, you will have to first you will first have to configure your account, or you'll have to set up your account on GitHub. If my name were to be Kunzanunari, right? If I were to change my personality for a second, you could set up your username. Git config. If you run this command on GitHub, git config -- global user.name Kunzanunari, then that will be your username that is stored for GitHub or for Git. And then if you also set your email, then you could set that as your email as well. This is a part of the GitHub setting up process. I'm not doing this on my computer because I already have Git configured on my computer. If you're also a little bit curious on how to configure Git for your computer, the tech leads are also roaming around as well. You could just also raise your hand and they'll come to you too. And in chat as well, please mention, tell us if you have any questions. Okay, so what I want to do now is that I actually want to show you guys how to use, you can make a repository and actually make your own project on GitHub. And I'll show you guys how to get started. So, okay. Let's put these side by side. Okay. So, I want to make my own project. Where do I start? The first thing I would do is that you see this button here? It says right next to repositories. Excuse me. It says new. What I will do is that I will press new. And from there, I can make a new repository. So I will go ahead. If only I could attach this to my mouth, but hopefully the chat you can still hear me. So I'm gonna call this repository name hello, I guess. I don't have a specific name. And I will make this private because once you make your repo public, everyone will get updates about every time you push to that project or every time you make a change to that. And I don't want people to be confused about hello or, I can make it public later. Also for a hackathon, make sure to make if you're working at a hackathon, make your repo private because there's a really specific reason why. You don't want other people looking at what you're doing at the hackathon and other people getting your ideas and stuff because if they're following you, they'll get updates every time you push to that repository. Don't make that mistake like I did. Everyone found out what I was doing the first night of the hackathon. I'm like, well, shoot, I was I lost the element of surprise, but
What do you do in terms of hackathons? Like, do you do penetration testing, or what routine or
for hackathons?
hackathons?
Oh, hackathons are more for coding. Yeah. Normally I do mobile development.
But some of them have chapter
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the question that was asked is, what do you do like a hackathon? So they're coding challenge. They're places where you could, there might be specific project themes, and you could build code for. There might be a certain given time, like 36 hours. You just you stay up and then you try to build a project within that certain time. And they're sponsors that give out prizes, and you try to build your project towards some of the prizes. And it's a super fun event. There was one at Shell Hacks a few weeks ago. Awesome event. They're typically, like an entire weekend, or it might be like on one day. If you guys are nervous about going to a hackathon, I would say just go to it. Kind of aside, but that's a common thing. But anyway, let's continue making our repository. So this is hello. I'm gonna make this private. I'll add a readme and stuff later. So let's create our repository. Okay. So yes. So what we'll go do now is that we will go ahead and we'll do this Git Remote at origin later. So this is what I will do. Actually, for now, I will just open up my terminal. So for me, I'm on Mac, so I'll just look up terminal here. And then for me, this is my terminal that'll pop up. Okay. So first, what I will do is that I want my project to be stored in a specific file, right? So I will first run a command that will allow for me to make a project folder. So what I'll do is that I will run this command called mkdir. Let me see if actually I could zoom into this a little bit. You guys might be might be not easy to see that. Shall, how do I make the text bigger? Let me see. I'm gonna change the text. You know how to make the text bigger? Okay, yeah, if you could help me out with that. Just give us a second, we're making the text bigger. But essentially, there's this command called mkdir. What does that stand for? That stands for make directory. A directory, again, is just making a folder. So we'll make our own folder. Otherwise, if you don't make your own folder, then it's just going to be in your, all your files will just be scattered all over your desktop, which you wouldn't want, right? You want everything in one specific place. Oh, yeah, that's it. Control plus? Okay, perfect, thank you. Hello. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, I could do it bigger. Okay. This stuff should pop up on the bottom. Are you guys even seeing the text?
I am.
Wait. Are you guys seeing what I'm typing here, or no?
No.
It's not popping up, right? Why not?
Yeah, I see now. I think it's just delayed. I think it's good.
You think so? Okay. Okay, that's better, right? You guys can see that. Okay.
It's good.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Just want to make sure everyone here could see it as well. So we'll make a directory called hello. Okay. So now when we run that, there is a folder on our computer called hello. And currently we're not there right now. So we're currently in Azar's MacBook Pro. So we're just in my, just general kind of computer. But I want to go to that file, that folder where I am at. So what I can do is that I'm currently in the directory that I'm at. I'm just like in Azar's MacBook Pro. But I want to change my directory to hello. So does anyone want to guess how I will possibly be able to do that?
CD.
Yeah, my man Alec. Yes, 5 points goes to Alec. Exactly, CD, or change directory. Change your directory to hello. So that's, the command is cd hello. As you'll see now, there's a hello that will pop up there. It's kind of slow. It's kind of annoying, but I promise, yeah. So now we're in hello. And as we do that now, and also, if you want proof that this does exist, I'll show you guys that it exists too. So I'm in just my general users, and then I have hello. Yeah, hello exists right there. So that is proof that that repository or that directory was made. Does that make sense to everyone? Is everyone following along? Awesome. So we have that. So now we have that. What we'll go ahead. So once you create a project, luckily enough, GitHub gives you some tips that will, it's similar to the PowerPoint anyway. So we'll just follow along with this. That'll allow for you to set up your repository. So what we will normally, I don't usually do that echo, but what you want to do first is run Git Init, right? So that essentially, what that does, it basically sets up Git for that specific folder. And you want to tell the folder beforehand, right? Like, oh, I want to use Git for this project or for this folder or whatnot, so that you could use the commands and stuff. So you first will do that. Let me actually just make sure I'm following along with the plan here. So yeah, Git Init. So it basically sets up, it creates a repository, the Git repository. And if you want to make, by default, like it says here, master will be the name for the initial branch. What I had mentioned before with branches, originally on GitHub, right? When you create your project, or the normal branch where you'll be working on stuff, right? Because you could branch off and create like a different kind of branch, like you're on the hello project, but you could create a hi branch or bonjour branch, whatever, right? But the most of the time, the branch that you start off with will either be called master or main. There was like a whole thing on like master being whatever, so that sometimes it will be called main now, but I believe mine is called master. So that's the branch that you start off with. And then you run Git Init. There's also this thing, Git clone. I'll talk about that in a second. So let me see. Just make sure here. Okay, yeah. So we basically set up Git for our computer. Now what we'll do is that we want to add a file to our project, right? We want to upload something. So what I'll go ahead and do, I'll make a file. I will go ahead, you can make something on VS Code or wherever, but I'm just going to use, I'm just going to make it simple and make a text file. I was testing. I have one. It's called Help Me Please, but I'm going to make a new one just for the intents and purposes of this project. So format, plain text. And I'm just gonna add some sample text to it. What up, GDSC homies? Y'all are awesome, right? So I'm going to name this Lord have mercy .java. You can name it whatever you want, and then I'm going to move this. I'm going to move this to that file, because otherwise, originally, if you're working on a project, you typically just open this project in like your VS Code or your Android Studio or somewhere else. But I didn't open that project folder and then create it from there, so I have to move it there manually, if that makes sense. So I'm just moving it to the same hello folder, which I believe is just here, users, Lazar Ali, hello, yeah. Okay, so should be saved. Okay. So what we'll do next is that we want to, okay, so now we have this file, right? Currently, our file is in our computer. The file being on our computer is what is called local. It's in our local repository. Remember that. So we have this file locally. We want to upload it to GitHub, which is called Remote. So we want to upload it to the Remote branch. So right now we're currently working on our local and then upload to Remote branch. Does that make sense? Okay. So how do we do this? So first, we have to add the file to, so there's a step process on how we publish our files to GitHub. First, we have to add our file, if you want to save the changes, right? So, so first you want to stage you want to first add your files to the stage. There's a stage, right? So if only I could have done something with a marker, but it's fine. So what you want to do is that you first want to have your file, and you want to put your file in a place that you can make changes to your computer and whatnot, but sometimes you just want to upload some certain files, right? You don't want to upload, you could just have, say you have your credit card information on one of the files. You probably wouldn't want to upload those files, right? So I mean, maybe I might by accident, but that you shouldn't do that. So you could pick and choose what files you want to, stage, for what you want to commit to GitHub. And a commit is essentially telling GitHub, hey, these are what I want to, these are what I want to put to GitHub. So first, git add is, you're adding it to Git. And then essentially, git commit is essentially, putting it for GitHub. And then there's like a whole other step process for that. But first, we want to just add, you could add the specific name of the file, or if you want to add, you see here, right? So you could do, there's 3 different ways that you could add files. You could add the specific name of the file. You could add the star, that means add all the files that have this file type. So star.java is adding all the files that are of the Java type. Or if you want to add just dot adds everything in that project folder. So typically when you're working on a project, you typically just do dot because you want to add everything, right? Unless if there's some specific kind of information, then you could remove some files, but typically you just do add dot. So I could even just do that, right? Right. So we added that to to the stage. We could check and see what files are kind of ready to go to GitHub by doing Git Status. So okay, so we see here that the changes to be committed to be put onto GitHub, Lord have mercy.java, right, is on the stage. What happened? Lord have mercy. .java.
Good.
Yes. Yes, because it's all a Python file, so it's like that's why. So if you want to check and see like what's been deleted, or what's been added to be put onto GitHub, you do Git Status. And it's fair to mention that anytime you want to run a Git command, you have to put Git in front of it. If you just write status, it wouldn't know what you're talking about. That could be for some other program or something. You have to write Git in front of it so that you could use it for GitHub. Does that make sense? Okay. So you do Git Status. Right? If you're updating the file, we're not going to do that one. But if you want to update the file, then you do git diff. Or if you want to remove changes, git diff main.java or a specific file. Or if you want to check the differences between all of the files, then you could just do git diff, right? Just without anything. And it tells you all the files that have been changed and what their changes are. Git remove or git rm. If you want to remove a specific file, like I mentioned, like your credit card information, you accidentally uploaded that, git rm or git. I don't know why I said git. It doesn't start with a J. All right. So you've put these files onto the stage, right? So imagine you have a stage here, right? So you have your project folder in this cesspool, right? And you want to pick which files you want to put that get uploaded to GitHub. What we did by git add, we took them and we put them on the stage. And this stage is that where we'll put them to be on what is called a commit. And a commit is specifically what GitHub uses to track different versions of the project. Okay, so you can add different files to be put, right? And then you say like, okay, this will be a specific version of the file that I want there to be recorded. So that will be a commit. And then if you want to ever go back to a specific version of the file, you go back to different commits of the file. So commits are basically versions. You're creating a new version by creating a new commit. Does that make sense? Okay. So what we want to do with all the files that we have now on the stage to be committed, we're going to commit them. So we do git commit. And typically, you could just commit without a message, but it's, how do you differentiate one version from the other, right? It's a best practice when you're coding or when you're committing files, you add a line associated with it so that you can remember what this change was. Like if you added a nav bar or if you deleted your credit card information, you want to make sure that you know what you did in there. If you don't include that, then you'll have all of these versions. You'll have to click into each one of them and then see like, oh, which one is the one where I deleted the credit card information? Which is the one I added the nav bar, right? Like you want to make it easy for yourself. So you add a message, git commit -m, help me.
Did you have a question, guys?
Question? So if you so that's basically it's a mixture. If you don't want to just, it's a mixture of add and commit. So basically, if you don't want to just do git add, if you have a file, if you want to just all your files you want to commit, you want to add and commit, I believe you could just do am and allow for you to do that. Yeah.
I think you can.
Yeah, I believe so. I think.
You could do the hash first A and then file and then hash M.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the files and then the message?
Yeah. So the question was, can you add just specific files? Because there's this command am. Could I just do I have to add all the files? No, you could add specific files if you want. You do git commit the files that you want, and then -am, or might be the other way around, and then your message. But yep. So help me. We're gonna git commit. So you see that as you enter that, there will be So you see that one file's been changed, one insertion, Lord have mercy.java. Okay. And let me see. Yeah. So we just have a little bit more. Since we are setting this up for the first time, we'll also need to add this this origin, which is just some other setting up stuff. Right. Okay, so Git Branch, this is just creating up a branch, but I don't even believe that's necessary at the moment. So we could also do, this is, This is essentially also creating the link, right, between Git and GitHub. Git is just on our terminal. We don't have any connection to GitHub as yet, right? How do we make sure that we put our files in the right place? We use Git Remote at origin to create this link between the two. Does that make sense? Right? Because otherwise we have just two totally different, we have our local and our remote. And we need to do Git Remote, right? So the remote, right? And add origin essentially is just creating the link between the two. And then with the link specifically, because this is on GitHub. So we do that. And now, right, we want to see our changes, right? We made all this awesome code, We wrote, what did I write again? That's the old one. I didn't write help me, please. I wrote, Lord have mercy. Or is help me, why do I have so many files? Lord have mercy.java. It was, what up GDSC homies, you're all awesome. We want to see that on the internet. So what we'll do is that we want to push this to the internet. We want to push this to GitHub. So we'll do, for the first time that we're setting it up, we will have to do git push -u origin main. Essentially, that is just setting it up that we want to just push it to the main branch for the first time. But and that's specifying that you're pushing it to the main branch as well. Typically, if you're working by yourself, you could just do a git push, but fail to push some references to Git status. Why is that happening? Do I really have to branch it? I did have to do it. So I had to make the branch main because I had a master branch. But yeah, so.
Isn't that your main branch already?
I believe I was on master beforehand. It's so weird. But yeah, so now if we go back to GitHub, we refresh it, it's there. And if we click on it, help me. What up, GDC homies? You're all awesome. With the file lordhavemercy.java. That's how you upload to GitHub. Yeah. Does anyone have a question? Yeah.
Wait, so you made changes and then you created a new branch and then you push?
I push that branch. Main branch. Yeah. Yeah. So you'll see. Yeah. I specified that I'm working with a main branch, and then I push to that branch. Is that good to everyone? If so, I will leave it to my associate over here, and he'll go over more on how you can do more branching and merging. Yeah, you just take it. Great. Thank you, guys.
Okay. Hello, guys. So I will be teaching you.
Dude, the camera's following you.
Oh.
What? No way.
Yeah, I got it. Okay.
I think you gotta wave your hand. Shut it off.
I have to wave my hand, I guess.
Yeah.
Did it work?
I guess it liked me too much.
Yeah. Okay. It does track you? Okay, so going back to the slides. Okay, I will be teaching you guys how the branches can be merged and how to create branches themselves. Okay? So, branches are basically created whenever you have a feature or features that you want to create. Okay? When you're working on the command line, I believe it's this one. Yeah. Okay. So when you're working on the command line, you want to create a branch to separate from the original project. So let's say I have like a supermarket app, right? And I want to create the checkout. I want to create a branch to develop the checkout feature, right? I can't just do it directly on the main project because that's going to, it runs a high risk to break the whole entire project. Okay? So if we come over here, and let me take off my watch. Okay, let's create a branch for this repo, right? So let's create, we could do Git Branch, and then we put the name of the branch. For this one, I'm going to call it Git Branch, right? It's gonna show up in just a second. Okay, and let's call this Git Branch 1, or Branch 1. Actually, example branch. Okay? And when we do this, this creates a whole new branch. And how can we see the branch? We do Git Branch, and we're actually able to see that we have main, and aside from that, we have our branch that we created, example branch. Okay? Now if we go to the next slide. After you create the branch, how can we move to that branch, right? So we call this checkout. So you want to, for example, if I want to go right now, since I have the little star right here, or next to main, that tells me that I am currently in main, right? But I want that star to be next to example branch. That means that I'll be currently in that branch. Okay, so if I do git checkout, if there's a way to make this bigger, oh, if I do git checkout, and I put the name of the branch, right? Example branch, right? It says switch to branch, example branch. And if I do git branch, again, it'll show me which branches I'm currently in, right? You could also check out from, let's say we can check out from, let's go back to main, first of all. Git checkout main. It's up to date with origin. Give me just 1 second. Yeah, so I'm currently in main right now, right? But let's say I want to check out and I want to create a branch at the same time, right? I could do git checkout, right? And I could do dash B, and let's say I could do second branch, right? This will create a second branch, right? Just because the name of it. It will create a second branch while checking out at the same time, right? And if I do git branch, you can see the branches. Now we have example branch, main, and second branch. And we're currently in second branch. Okay? Now, let's say git branch. Okay, so let's say we want to change the names of our branches, right? We could do git branch, right? Dash M, and we could do it two ways, right? Edit any providing. You could do it by providing the current branch, right? You could do it from a different branch, and you can do it from the current branch that you're in. So if I remember correctly, if I do, okay, let me just rephrase this. You could do git branch, and then if you're doing it from a different branch, that you want to change the name of another branch somewhere in the project, you could put the current name of that branch and then followed by the new name of that branch. Now, if you want to change the name of your current branch, then you do git branch dash M, and then you change the name of it. Okay, that's going to change. Like for example, let's say I want to change second branch to third branch, right? If I do git branch, I change second branch to third branch, right? And then let's say I go into main, git checkout to main, right? Git branch, just to show you guys that I'm in main. And then I could do git branch, and then let's change example branch to, I guess, fourth branch. Right? Example branch already exists. Delete users. Yeah, that should be right. Okay. Example branch. Yeah. That should be right. Or it's, oh, okay, it's vice versa. It's the name of the new branch, I believe, with the name of the old branch.
Wait, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to change the name, or?
Yeah, I'm trying to change the name from a different branch. So I'm in main, right? And I'm trying to change the name of the example branch to be fourth branch.
Right. Are you showing us another way? Because the previous one was, what were you doing with the?
So if I do it without, okay, so there's two ways to do it.
Right.
There is git branch dash M. If you just do it, if you just put a different name, that's going to change the current name of the current branch you're in, right? Like if I change it right now and I just put dash M, it's gonna change main to whatever I put it. Right. Now, if you do the new branch name followed by the old branch name, then it should change the name of whatever branch you're targeting on.
So like if you're not in that branch and you wanted to change name, basically.
Right. So you want to target the new name that you want to create, followed by the targeted branch. Right. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. So if I do git branch M, right, and I do let's say fourth branch, right, that's the new name that we want to create, followed by example branch, right? It's weird because it's not letting me. Git branch, it's not letting me. Let me try git branch dash M example branch, and then let's fourth branch. Let me just try this. There you go. It worked. So yeah. So it's the targeted branch followed by the new name of the branch. So this was right from before. There you go. So it's this example right here. Okay, so now if we do git branch, we change example branch to fourth branch. Okay, if we continue on. Now, okay, so pushing changes onto your branch. So so you guys have to understand this. When you create a new branch, right, in your computer, you're creating it locally, right? What does that mean? So there's two types of branches. There's a local branch, and there's a remote branch. What's the difference? The remote branch is in the cloud. It's in the GitHub, right? The local branch is in your computer. Okay, so in order for you to actually update that, so you want to make the local to be in the GitHub, you need to push it. Okay, so let's say, for example, right now we're in main. Let's do git checkout to fourth branch, right? To fourth branch. Okay, this now fourth branch. Oh, I didn't put the R. Oh, let me do third branch then. Git checkout third branch, right? So if you do git branch, I'm currently in third branch, right? So now let's say we want to create a new file, right? We could just do touch. This is like to create a new file, and you could do I think it's a readme.md, right? So we want to add, that file. You want to add, commit, push in that order, right? So if we do git status, oh, can't stand this keyboard. If you do git status, you can see this file hasn't been added, and that's why it's in red, right? So if I do git add, right, readme.md, right? If I do git status, it should be in green. Okay, so now I can commit. So I can do git commit, and I add a message, right? And on this message, I can say something like added readme. Readme MD example. Okay. So now the file has been added, it has been committed, and now I can push. And this push would send this current branch with that file in it to the GitHub. So it'll go from local to remote. Okay. So if I do git push, believe I have to set up the upstream too. Yeah. So you have to do git push set upstream. So now I'm telling GitHub that we want to push to the main project in the remote, which is origin, which is in the remote branch, which is located in the origin, I think, space. Yeah. Okay, and we want to push it as well with the branch. Okay. New branch, third branch. Did I misspell it? Third branch set track remote branch from origin. Set up to track remote branch from origin. This create a pull request. Oh, you have it set up to do pull request, I think. I think you have your GitHub set up to do pull request.
To do pull request?
Yeah, that's what I think that's what it's telling me right now. So I think it created a pull request.
Oh.
Okay, so which that leads us to our next.
Manny, can you put the mic a little closer?
Okay, so can you guys hear me better? Okay, so what happened here is that as R has his computer, I mean, I think it passed, writing compressed object, delta total 3, reused. I think it passed.
It's just like to merge it to the main.
You have your GitHub desktop?
I have GitHub desktop.
Okay, let's see. We're just trying to make sure that this is correct. Okay, this is another way that you can check all of this. If we go to, what's the name of the project?
Hello.
Let's clone it. Hello? That one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello.
I'm just trying to make sure that everything just passed correctly. So yeah, it did. So we can see over here how main went from being local to actually being remote. It actually worked. All right. So that leads us to our next point, which is merging branches. So let's say that we want that we finished going back to the example for the checkout cart, right? We're making a supermarket app. We need to make the checkout cart. So we make a new branch. We do the checkout cart, and now, if you know the checkout is within the branch itself. It's not in the main project. So we want to merge the main project. We want to merge the branch with the main project, right? And that's how features get added, right? And so, when people refer to merging, you have to refer to, like, for example, when like all this jargon tends to get very confusing. So the way to think about it is, when you do checkouts, for example, like if I'm checking out to master, it's because I'm going to master, right? If I'm merging from branch, from my current branch to master, right? I believe I'm merging. It gets confusing always. Okay, so here's the best way to think about it. Okay, if I'm merging into like basically master from into current branch. So let's say the way to do it would be like this. I want to be in main, right? And then I want to merge from main, like while in main, I want to merge the branch, third branch. What this will allow me to do, it's basically merge this branch to main. Okay, so this is the visual, representation of it, but we're gonna do it in the code. Okay? And that way you do like this. So remember, you have to be within within master. So we want to check out to master. So git checkout to main. I call it master because that's how I'm used to. Yeah. So we want to check out to main. So we want to do git branch to check where we are. Git is not a what? Yeah, there you go. I hate your keyboard. Okay. So while in main, I want to merge, right? So git merge third branch. Right? Remember that I'm currently in main, right? And I'm merging like the third branch, which is the branch that has the readme file, into main. Okay? Okay, one file changed, insertions, deletions, created mode, and then if we check over here, yeah, so I mean that's already correct. Okay, and that already pushes it and everything. So the way that we can check this, if you're ever curious about this, we can go to the repository physically. Your repositories. We go into hello, and remember that we want main. Like for example, we have the readme file right here. Did I do it backwards? This is why I don't like doing it in the command line. Oh, I did it backwards. I am so sorry. Okay, so it's basically you have to be in the other branch, and then you merge what you have into the main. This is why I like doing it better this way, like with the GitHub desktop. But okay, so let's do it. Yeah, it's GitHub checkout. It's the same concept but backwards, basically. GitHub checkout, third branch. Okay, and then I do Git Merge. Oh, main. So basically, you want to be in the branch that you want to merge your stuff, and then you want to target the main. It's when you're doing it in the command line, it's backwards. But when you're doing it from the GitHub desktop, it's backwards. It's basically you want to be in the main, and you could do the merge into current branch. And so the logic is backwards. That's why I got it wrong. But this should merge. It's already up to date. So let me see. This should have what? Oh, why isn't it working? This is how I learned it. Let me check. Yeah. And then it says that main is already updated. Maybe if I refresh. I don't get it. So I'm basically trying to merge the readme file. It's in the third branch, right?
Okay.
And then I'm basically trying to merge it with main.
So you might want to be on the third branch and then merge.
That's what I'm trying to do. That's literally what I just did.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're on the third branch.
Yeah. Git merge, and then I'm trying to merge to main.
Git pull first.
Pull
Pull request and merge.
So git. Okay, so let me do git merge into main. It says it's up to date. It doesn't make sense. The way I learned it, it's backwards. So git checkout into main. Okay. Git push used to publish your local commits. Yeah. Let me check something. Yeah, I'm just gonna do it in the desktop. So if everything else fails, you can always do it this way. So you're in the third branch, right? And you merge into the main. Let me just check something. Let me check the history. I have to make sure that the history is correct and everything. Oh yeah, no, I did. Look at that. So I did it right. I don't. This is a typical Git moment. Yeah, so it did work. Okay, so so basically it already back. It did work. We got main updated. So you want to be in the targeted branch, and you want to merge into main. Simple. Yeah, like let me see the code history. There's only 2 commits, so added examples. Yeah. This doesn't show the changes. Yeah, this only shows that the branch was can do git log, yeah. Yeah, but it just shows me the same thing as you see, like third branch, like main was targeted, and we basically merged third branch with the main branch. And yeah, it gets complicated, but the logic, it's basically you just want to be on the targeted branch, and you want to merge into main.
Can you do a Git branch
Dash VV? Why VV?
I just wanted to see like the output. I just saw that.
So git branch dash VV,
Yeah, dash VV.
like that.
Dash VV. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So origin added was merged with. So you see over here also that the fourth branch it's actually local and not remotely. Okay, but let's keep going. Okay, this takes us to the branches and merges, right? So when you're in a team, when you're working alone, a lot of us tend to work directly on the main or the master, and that is bad practice as it is. Because it's good practice to just create branches and like start doing the features that way. Yes.
I also tend to make one branch for the development and another branch is production. So we have two versions of the
Oh yeah.
So people usually would integrate into dev,
Yeah.
which would be the development branch.
So like another practice, like David said, it's creating a development and a production branch. Just having three different branches. I think it's development, testing, and production branches. A lot of people don't do that. I don't even do that. I only do like development and production as well. That said, when you are working in a team, right, you want to prevent somebody from directly merging the branch itself that you're working on directly onto the project. So you want to basically go through a review process called a PR or a pull request. Okay, so when somebody tells you to create a PR, it's a pull request. And it's basically a process of reviewing your branch before it gets directly uploaded to the main project, right?
You're in the main, the project branch, right? Where everyone,
Yeah.
the person in charge, like the boss, would get merge requests to, request merging into the main project branch.
Yeah. So it's basically when you do the PR, also like you get other people's members like that are better than you or probably just as equal as you. You know, you get people to review your code, and then make sure that there's no error. Ooh. Gotcha. Okay, so and that process is very important, and you guys will like, since as software engineers we're going to be working on teams, this process is very crucial. It basically prevents the main project from breaking, at least trying. Like it's the biggest security that we have, you know. And so that way, let me just show you. So let's say, for example, let's say I add another file called maybe like a Java file. Gotcha. So let's do touch. We're in main. So get checkout to third branch. Right. So let's do touch. Let's say this file .java. Right. And let's say that we added git add, that adds everything, the dot, and let's say git commit message add a Java file, right? But before we commit it, we go to GitHub, right? And we create a new PR, which it'll be compare the third base file changes. It'll be, oh, we can push. So now if we go over here, now we see that there's changes. We can create a pull request, and then in this pull request over here, there would always be like a template of the changes that you create, followed by the people that are going to review the code, the assigners, which is you yourself, or like if you're working with another person, the labels, which I think is the requirements of the project itself, and the milestone that you're trying to reach. Okay, then once you do a create pull request, right, and then this would check if it's good, if there's no errors. There's going to be background software that's going to be running probably in your company that would check if it merges properly. You know, it'll do like a mock merge, and if it merges properly, then you're good. If you get all the check marks, then you do merge, and then confirm merge, and it starts merging. Pull request successfully. Okay, and now this merged to the main project already. Okay, and then finally, let's run through these. So these are very basic concepts. Git Pool, it's basically updating the whole project, right? So if I do Git Merge main, right? And then I do Git Checkout to main, right? And I do Git Pool, I'm basically updating the main program after merging it with the third branch, right? Then that's basically the basic concept. You always want to do Git Pool to update your project, okay? And storing changes, the main concepts is stashing. Let's say you want to, let's say you've been working on a branch, right? You've been working really hard on it, but then like your boss tells you, hey, you gotta go into main and you gotta change, or you gotta go into another branch and you gotta change a few things, right? And then you don't want to, you can't just switch, you know, once you have like changes in your branch, you can't just basically switch onto another branch, right? That can't be done. You're gonna, like, Git is going to scream at you. So what we do is Git Stash, which is, stashing is basically hide it away, you know, and when I come back, I will pop it, you know, and I can get it back, you know. So we want to hide it away, we want to switch branch, and then we can start working on another branch. Then when we come back to that same branch, we basically pop it and we get it back, right? The way that you can see the Git stashing, so let me just give you a quick example. Let's go into checkout third branch, right? So let's just do another file. Git touch. No, I can just do touch. Right, now we have a JavaScript file, but we want to stash it, so we do Git Stash, right? And a lot of times it's very recommended to use a message, right? Like update user, or we could just put JSON file, right? No local changes to save. I believe that's right. So let me just do Git Stash also. Yeah, it's fine. And then we could do Git Stash list. Oh, I didn't save it. Git Stash push. Oh, I did it right. Okay. Git Stash. Let me do Git Status. Yeah, it's there. So Git Stash push. JS file. Okay, I guess I have to add it. There you go. So you have to add it first and then you gotta stash it. Okay, the way that we see the list is just Git Stash list, right? And over here we see the list with the index of 0, you know, and this is the file with the comment that we said, right? And then finally, when you come back, you can just say git stash pop, or we can say index of 0 in this case. So git stash pop, you know, and this will return the file that we were working on, right, which is another JS. And now the file, we're able to see it in our project, right? And then finally, git stash drop. So if you stash something, a lot of times people just end up restarting to do what they were doing. So if you hide something away, it's gonna take up space, right? So you just wanna like drop it. So if we do it, for example, git stash, it's already added, so we can just do git stash, right? And in this case, we could do git stash drop. It drops everything. So if we do git status, which shows us like the current files, we don't have anything there, right? And that's basically the concepts of branches and storing in GitHub and Git. Okay, so I guess now we will be showing the examples for how to do it like for our own separate projects for Visual Studio Code and no, not today. What do you guys think? We could put it off for another day, if anything. Yeah? Okay. Okay. That's perfect. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming. And this was our Git workshop. Does anybody have any questions?
Yes. So what if because you know how like in the beginning you did the Git Init
Yes.
directory, right? Let's say you didn't want to do that anymore. How do you delete it?
The Git Init.
Yeah.
So you want to remove the link between the repository to the GitHub. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, you know how like manually, if you delete the .git folder, like the hidden file, like
Yeah.
you no longer have access to Git to that particular directory?
Yeah.
How would you do it like?
There is actually a command online. That's something that you could actually do. Here, let me actually pull it up because I have done it myself before. Okay. It's you could do for example, you could look up on Stack Overflow.
Another question.
Yeah.
Is it a good practice to delete the branch once you're done, or you just leave it there?
So there's a process called squashing. Okay, so the question is, do you want to delete the branch before, like after you're done with the like with the whole feature? And the answer is yes and no. So I would keep it just because like something always goes wrong with the project, so you want to keep like a local like copy of it. But there's also another process called squashing. So what squashing does is that, let's say that you committed maybe like 5 times, right, onto that branch. It's squashing. What it does is that it just keeps the latest copy that you have, and it basically removes all the previous commits. So that's the way to unload, you know, information or just data from the GitHub. It makes it lighter, it makes it faster, makes it better for everybody in the team. Okay, you don't want to squash before like the whole project is finished though, because you will mess yourself up. It has happened to me many times before. So just to go back to your question for removing the link for GitHub, remove GitHub link from repo using Git. There's like a whole entire code that you can use. So managing, so deleting local repository. So you could do cd onto the project, right? And you could do rm, which is remove reference to the repository git. And this will remove the link between your repository and your Git and your GitHub. No problem. Okay, anybody else? All right, so again, that is it, guys. Thank you so much for coming. How do I stop the? Thank you, everyone.
Yes, and make sure we have our second general body meeting happening this Friday at 5 p.m. in PG 6116. You won't want to miss it. We're gonna have food, and we're gonna be talking about all of our dev communities and stuff we have happening for this semester. So, yeah, make sure to stop by. Thank you all so much. I think it was Instagram.